What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here. I'm bringing you a little upcoming news update, and then also some events that are coming up, or rather I guess it's two events coming up for New Year's Day only, similar to, well, it's not similar in event-wise, but it's one day-ish only, kind of like the Grandpa Cron, or whatever the Santa Cron thing was called, when we had the Night Vendor thing changed to Santa Claus for cool stuff. So yeah, it's one day only like that was. First, let's talk about what probably everyone clicked on the title of this link for, is the percentages for accessory enhancement, and, well, not just accessory stuff, enhancing stuff. So here we go. So basically what's happened, the public test server, the global test server, whatever they call it, now is showing percentages when you do an enhancement. So some kind sir named, credit to Habib's M, has posted his findings from the test server on different enhancement rates for different items. So take a look at this, and then Fine Reddit user also has extrapolated the data and kind of pieced it together in Word format just to kind of make it easier to read. So let's just jump into it. Let's take a look here. So interesting to note, apparently gold weapons, or excuse me, gold accessories at Pry is a base 25% success rate, which is pretty interesting. So then at 20 you see 71% here, and then you can see from 20 to 37 it only increases to 79.5 to go from there, and then all the way up to 53 it's 87.5. You can see it kind of soft caps at one point there and then increases at a much slower rate, going higher from there. So 64, you have a 90% chance of success rate. I would imagine 100% is going to be something like 75-ish, maybe a little higher than that, 76, somewhere around there, if it doesn't stop entirely. But according to what this data says, it doesn't really look like it actually stops. So anyway, that's Pride. Going to Duo, see a couple different ones listed here. We're up at let's see, a Duo attempt, you'd usually be around 40 stacks or so on the upper end. That's what we typically would enhance those with. So you can see at 37 you'd have 47% here, then going from 37 all the way to 53 only goes up to 52.6, so 40% still does seem to be kind of the sweet spot, that 35 to 40, which I think is what most people are enhancing duos. The timing of this came out really well, actually, since I was going to be doing my Part 2 enhancing guide for beginners for accessories, and now we have some actual numbers to work with, and I may alter some of the settings for that. Try, we can see here, try you're typically upper end of like 60 or so, which seems to be right-ish at 64. You can see it's 43.5%, and then all the way up to 82, almost no increase, so pretty clearly a soft cap on that number, wherever it is, probably around 60 something there, in the 60s at a 43.5 percentage. Definitely not worth 100 stack at all. You can see the increase is only 5%. It's pretty terrible. Moving on to, I scrolled quite a bit on accident. What is that, a Ben Show's necklace, which is blue, so I'm not sure if that's how accurate that's going to be to use to talk about going Tet. It's weird that they used a Ben Show for this at all. Oh, because that's what they had Try at the time. Or I don't know if they're making the claim that this is the same gold and silver. I would imagine that it isn't the same gold and silver at all. Don't really have any clarification there. This is kind of cut off. Here's some Lemuria pieces, which again, not necessarily going to translate directly to golds, but we don't know that for sure. And then his second picture covers a few more things. No, it does not. It is the same picture in there twice. Okay, great. So let's look at the guy that pulled the data from it, because it's a little bit more useful than what this has, and then we'll talk about the events after. So here you go. Homeboy. Oh boy, the name is OQWNM. I'll have a link to this in the description, so you can just click on it and check it out if you want to yourself, or follow along, read along, whatever. So here's what we got from this. And there's some speculation in it as well. We don't, of course, know exactly for sure, because it's not like we had blues and golds at every level of enhancement at every possible stack we had. Obviously, just the given data that this particular guy had that we're going off of, but it's definitely quite an insight into the world of enhancing, and not just accessories. We're going to talk about pen as well. So extrapolated from this data, base gold accessories is a 25% base enhancement, then it's 2.5% per stack up until 18, which is then at 70%, and then a 0.5% stack until plus 58, where it's 90%. We don't know that it actually caps there or not. It's just the information that we have. It may not cap at 90%, but we didn't really see any evidence of a hard cap on anything. There's certainly soft caps, and in this case that seems to be 18 at 70% on Pry, which is pretty much, you know, what the enhancing world has kind of thought in general. Personally, I was doing base golds, yeah, right. I think I'd started at about 18 and then get into like the 20s ish. Anyways, prize, I would usually do 25 to 30. What we can see here, you get a 10% base, 1% stack up until 40. And this is on a Pry going duo. Oh wait, yeah. I used to do 25 to 30 on getting on pry, so I was way too high on what really needed to be done, and then I would use these here 35 40 to go duo. Anyways, 10% base plus 1% stack until 40%, and then 0.2% stack until we don't have the upper end from that. Duo golds going for try attempts. We don't know the base. We know the percentage per stack, and we don't know up until less than 60 stacks for sure. That was because we had just blues. They used a Bencho necklace, and we can't necessarily take that to be exactly what we want to use. Personally, I've done around 60 stacks, 60, and then 61, 62, whatever, kind of there on golds, but we don't actually have the data on that just yet, since this is on the test server. Hopefully, so more people will get some data out, or if this does roll into live servers, then everyone will know the percentage chance on all of their stacks altogether. And then, of course, we have the tri-blue accessories, which I don't think we care too much about. And then where we talk about pen? Oh, here we go. After some more extrapolation, I'm pretty confident that duo golds are 7.5% base, and then 0.75% per stack until 44. And that gets you a 40.5% chance at 44. That seems low to me, but okay. And then 0.15% until something like that. Then just a note, there's been tinfoil theory in KR that Valk's Cry fail stacks are worth more. I wonder if Valk's let us go over the soft cap stacks. Would be nice if there's data points with Valk's. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see later on. Somebody talks about pen in here, or was it just from the clip? Because I did just want to mention it. Yeah, I guess we'll just pull up the thing. I thought it was in here. So if you just take a look at this, at a 100 stack on a blue Tet bow, you can see the 3.3% chance to hit pen. So I can imagine on gold, if it is indeed different, which I think that it is, if it is indeed different to have a gold item to go pen, imagine that on 100 stacks. So those of you that have hit all these stories of hitting pen on like 60% and stuff like that are literally hitting like a percent or less, depending on what the base enhancement percentage is. Which is kind of crazy. Super lucky. Super lucky. Really cool data to have. We'll see what happens when it rolls out to live servers, if and when it does, or we'll get some more data that may come out as this is tested a bit more on the global test server. So pretty cool thing to see. Something I noticed. Wasn't even going to do, I had an entirely different video planned for today, but I saw this on Reddit and couldn't not talk about it. I did want to talk about the New Year events, since they did mention these the other day, and we didn't talk about it in the non-patch notes recap on Wednesday. Since there wasn't patch notes, we just talked about some of the things that happened in the Korean patch notes. So New Year's event, this is going to be New Year's Day only, just the day of New Year's Day, basically from midnight UTC to 23:59 of UTC, so make sure you check your time zone accordingly for where you're at, because it's their New Year's Day, not necessarily yours. And what you're going to get, the quest Wish Lantern, you speak with a dude and you get 50 contribution after accepting Black Spirit quest. Make a New Year's wish, ask the children what their wishes are, and then you get 50 contribution XP and a Wish Lantern. And then you get another one where you go to a hill near the Kron Castle with Lara and fly a Wish Lantern, where you will get a box full of wishes and another contribution experience points of 50. Quest can be obtained through Black Spirit after completing the boss, the Witch of Horrors quest, looking for adventures for renewed quest. What's inside the event box full of wishes? Glad you asked, because the answer's right here. You right click and you're randomly going to get either of the boss helms, either of the boss armors, not either of the boss gloves, just bags, muskins or uragons. You can get Zarka, Nuver, Kudum, Dandy, or often Tet. So this is what was speculated. I mentioned this in the Korean patch note video we talked about. That word on the street was we're going to be getting a boss box, and that is confirmed. We will be getting a boss box. So when you open this thing, you're going to get some random piece of boss gear. Rip those guys that get red nose. I'm very sorry, but enjoy selling it and trying to get a real piece of boss armor. There is no Libers in this of note, but there is Uragons, which I don't believe last year had Uragons, if I remember correctly. Second event we got going on is this bad boy right here. Happy New Year. You just this is I think they had this thing before. Play an hour a day and you just get free stuff 6 times. So your first day you're going to get some firecrackers, the golden fish guy, golden dagger guy, and golden backpack. So basically you're getting firecrackers and a bunch of money. On day 2 you stay logged in. It's just 1 hour, right? An hour total. Yeah, for 6 days. Cool. Day 2 you're getting high quality food box, so all the meals and stuff, cron meals and stuff. Chuseok gift box. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody in the comments knows what's in that. If you do, drop it below. I'm not familiar with that box from before. I don't know if it's been around or maybe it's before my time. Day 3, we're gonna get some moon shards, which I believe those are the things you can mix with your memory fragments, and then it has either gives you just back your memory fragment, or 2 or 3, and has a chance of getting a moon shard. I believe that's what those are. The mystical golden egg we saw from the Florin event. before. These were actually really good rates on item drops and Lauren family gift box. So between these two, definitely that day you can expect your Ancient Guardian Seals and Ancient Weapon Cores to absolutely plummet in price. Sometimes they do go cheaper than getting actual sharp stones, so watch out for that as well. Day 4, 10 Caphras, 3 Peridot Leaf, and 30 Peridot Petal. Day 5, Seal Book of Combat for a day Blessing Commissile, a day Value Pack, and a Blessed Message Scroll, 100 minutes, which those are the 100% XP scrolls, so that's pretty awesome as well. And then a Fine Accessory Box 2 for everybody. So that's going to be kind of insane on day 6. So pretty cool stuff. They're just giving us freebies for the new year, little event celebration thing. That's going to be pretty awesome. Make sure you don't miss it. If you're going to be out of town or something, highly recommend setting up a remote access team viewer or something on your phone to at least connect in and make sure you can get logged in, because you're not going to want to miss these. Or just AFK for 6 days. You could do that too. So that's it. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Did want to do a beginner's guide that I'll just put out tomorrow, just because I wanted to talk about this fine stuff right here. So it's out there. We'll see what new stuff comes around. Be sure to like this video if you did like it, and if you didn't, I'm sorry that you didn't like it, but you can still click the button anyhow. And if you haven't, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications when we get new stuff coming out. If you're looking for the beginner's guide video that we usually do on Fridays, it is going to come out tomorrow, along with some streaming going on tomorrow and Sunday as well. So if you haven't already, jump over to the Twitch page and make sure you follow that channel so you know when we do go live over the weekend here. And since I'm off during New Year's Day coming up as well, we'll probably fit in a couple of extra streams this week, maybe 3 or 4 if we're lucky. That's gonna be it, everybody. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.